if I'm doing something wrong here. Guys, it's going to be such a fun week, right? How many of you have been to day camp before? Wow, only like half. I have never been to a Capernaum day camp before. So I am so excited. Hey, I haven't got a few pictures to introduce myself. I'm going to move out of the way here. You can throw that first picture up. I don't know who's controlling these things. This is my husband, Devin. He's actually not here today, which is so sad, but I think he's going to be here tomorrow, so I'll have to introduce you to him. So we are actually moving to South Carolina on Friday, like this Friday, because I'm going to be working for Young Life Capernaum down there, which is really fun, right? Alright, you can go to that next picture, guys. You won't believe this. You won't believe this. This is our little newest addition to our family on the left here. Her name's going to be Bailey. Can you handle that? She's 3 weeks old right now. Isn't she the cutest? We're going to get her in July. Alright, you can keep going. So I don't know. Like Simon said, I actually lived here, gosh, was that 4 years ago or 3 years ago maybe? And I worked for Young Life Capernaum in Virginia Beach. There's Devin. Hi. And so I got to know so many friends here. So you'll recognize some of these people on the screen. Christine's here and Allie's here. Let's go to the next one. Here's some more friends. Diamond, you're famous already. Look at that. So fun. So I'm so glad to be here. It's really fun. I'm going to move back to the center. I think that's all the pictures. Okay. I'm so excited to be here. This is wobbly up here, but that's all right. Guys, here's the thing, is when I think about Capernaum Day Camp, there's a verse in the Bible that comes to mind. Has anyone ever heard of John 10:10? I'm sure that some of y'all have talked about it. Does anyone know what John 10:10 says? Anyone know? No one? You forgot? That's all right. You want to give it a try, Shelby? What do you think it says? It is about Jesus. So here's why I love John 10:10. It's Jesus saying, I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. And I think that's such a great verse for Capernaum Day Camp. Because here's the thing, listen carefully. Shh. Take a deep breath, listen carefully. When I think of Capernaum Day Camp, I think of a big party. Does anyone know? I've never seen day camp before, but isn't it kind of similar to a big party? Yeah. Don't you think? Awesome. So here's my question for you. I want you to raise your hand so we can hear each other talk. I want to know a few people, what do you think of when you think of a party? What do you think of? Marcus, what do you think of? What do you think of when you think of a party? Sunglasses? Alright, that's one. That's great. Singing. Brian, how about over here? Yes, what do you think of when you think of a big party? Family and friends. That's awesome. How about here in the front row? Girls, yep. Remember, like we talked about, not here, okay? Alright, how about your friend next to you? What do you think of? Real quick.
Hey, I'm question.
Real quick.
Give a bit of a cake.
Alright, give a round of applause. How about some from this side? What do you think of? Allie, front row. A birthday party? That's one kind of party we can have. How about two more? Go ahead. Yeah, you. I can't hear you. Nothing. That's awesome. All right, Ben, last one.
Beer.
What? Beer. Oh, I don't think so. Maybe at some parties, but not this kind of party, all right? All right, I know you guys would all have awesome answers, but we're going to keep moving on for now, okay? We'll talk about it after Latia, okay? So here's one thing. Someone said family and friends. Was that you, Brian? Yes, that is so great. That's what I was thinking of too when I think of a big party. Because here's the reality is, wouldn't a party be pretty boring without other people? Can you imagine this day camp just empty? I'd be talking to walls, right? What kind of party would that be? That would would be a really lame party. So listen to this. I think that's something so important about John 10:10, that he's saying, when I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. I think a big part of that is relationships, right? Relationships with our peers, relationships with our family, with our friends, but most importantly, a relationship with Jesus. Because when we're in a relationship with Jesus, that's when we can experience life to the full. Okay, so like Stafford said, every day this week, we're going to take about 10 minutes, and we're going to gather in this room, and we're going to take a deep breath, and we're going to be quiet, and we're going to put our phones away, and we're not going to worry about what other people around us are doing, and we're going to really talk about that. About when we're in a relationship with Jesus, that is when we can experience full life. And so what we're going to do is, for the first couple days, we're going to look at some people in the Bible who had an interaction and a relationship with Jesus. And we're going to see what we can learn from them. And then later on in the week, on Thursday, we're going to talk about us. Okay, we're going to talk about you and me and what it looks like for us to be in a relationship with Jesus. Does that sound good? It's going to be awesome. So I need you to be real quiet for a few more minutes. This is really important. We're going to open up the Bible today and read a story, like I said, about someone who met Jesus. So this is so important. So what we're going to do is we're going to open the Bible, and this book comes from the book of John. It's in John 4, which is in the New Testament. The book of John is in the Bible in the New Testament, and it has a lot to do about Jesus. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start reading. All right, so where we pick up this story, I don't know if you know anything about Jesus. It's okay if you don't. We're going to learn a lot this week. But Jesus was a really popular guy, okay? So he was really popular. He went a lot of places. He walked around this earth and interacted with a lot of people. And so when we pick up this story in John 4, Jesus is moving on to a new place. He's going to meet new friends and new people that he can interact with. All right? So here we go. John 4, verse 46. It says, "Once more, Jesus visited Cana in Galilee, where he had turned the water into wine." I don't know if y'all have ever heard that story. You've heard of it from church. That's awesome. But yeah, Jesus had been in Cana, and it was a big wedding. And so he had changed the water into wine. We can talk about that story more later. And so Jesus was back in Cana. And then the next verse says, "And there was a certain royal official whose son lay sick at Capernaum." So we're going to call this royal official the dad, okay? So when we talk about this royal official, we're just going to call him the dad, all right? And here's what I want you to know, is when you hear Capernaum, excuse me, I'm sure you're kind of confused. You know, like we're at Capernaum right now, right? But Capernaum was actually named after a place in the Bible. And so this dad had a son who lay sick at Capernaum, okay? And so the next verse, in verse 47, it says, "When this man, the dad, heard that Jesus had arrived in Galilee from Judea," which is another place, "he went and begged him to come and heal his son, who was close to death." So this man, the dad, must have known exactly who Jesus was, right? It says he's a royal official. Do you guys think someone who's a royal official is important or not important in a town? And really important. That's right, a royal official. So what I want you to know about that is if he was a royal official, he probably had access to the best healthcare, the best doctors in that day, okay? But yet, when he heard that Jesus was coming through town, he said, "I've got to go. My son is sick." So he must have known who Jesus was. You know, Jesus kind of had a reputation, right? He was popular, he moved around, Paul's shaking his head, yep, he knows. And so this dad must have heard about Jesus and said, "I've got to go." He was desperate because his son was near death. And he knew, he must have heard that Jesus could heal him more than any other doctor. And so in verse 48, it keeps on, it says, Jesus is talking, and he says, "Unless you people see signs and wonders," Jesus told him, "you will never believe." The dad said, "Sir, come down before my child dies." So this man, the dad got to see Jesus. He got to see him face to face and say, "Jesus, I need your help." My son is dying. That's right, Lauren. And so I want you to think of the most famous person that you know. Who's the most famous person that you guys know? Who's your favorite singer? Favorite? Yeah, all right, let's see some hands. Jason, who's your favorite? Ooh, I've never heard of that one. All right, let's do one more. Who has it? Let's see. Danny, how about you? Bruno Mars, that's right. So I want you to picture those people. I want you to picture those people and trying to get through the crowd to them. Can you imagine if Bruno Mars was here right now? There would be a huge crowd around him, right? That's kind of how Jesus was. Whenever he was anywhere, there was a huge crowd. And so it says in verse 49 that the dad got to say to Jesus, "Come before my child dies." And so that was a really big deal. Shh, listen, look up here. That was a really big deal that the dad got to speak to Jesus because he was really popular. And that only